The Mario sports games are known for being larger than life and filled with colour, bombast and hyper-unrealistic movesets. Mario Tennis Open eschews much of this, following in the footsteps of some of Nintendo's earlier tennis games in an attempt to become a purer, more focused tennis experience. It doesn't quite hit the mark, falling somewhere between the two styles. Despite being largely stripped back, it manages to be convoluted thanks to a variety of jarring control schemes. The setup is simple. Mario and friends are playing tennis. There's no usual Mushroom Kingdom plot and no backstory. It's simply all about 13 characters competing in tennis tournaments. During matches there are 6 shot types on offer: simple, topspin, flat, slice, lob and drop shot. These shots can be performed with the face buttons or by tapping the relevant icon on the touchscreen. Then there's the option to use either gyro controls or circle pad controls. The latter sees you directing your player from a bird's eye perspective, whereas the gyro controls angle the camera over your shoulder and have you directing your shots by tilting the 3DS around. This is another convoluted aspect of Mario Tennis. If you opt to turn the gyro controls on, the game takes control of your player, directing him or her to where the ball is going to land. Playing with the gyro controls also disables the 3D, and this takes effect automatically, saving you the disorientating moment when you realise how incompatible gyro and 3D are. The 3D effects themselves aren't very impressive, with barely any depth on even the highest setting. Turning the gyro controls off gives you full control of your character via the circle pad and is the most preferable option, not least because with gyro controls on, it's almost impossible to concede more than a couple of points within an entire tournament. Spicing up the tennis somewhat is the chant shot mechanic that can stagger your opponents, curve balls around them or lob balls over their heads. It's not too over the top. The focus is on largely sensible tennis mechanics after all, but it's enough to give you an edge in rallies. During earlier tournaments, these chant shots basically function as win buttons, and you almost always score a point if you hit one. You can play through singles or doubles tournaments in single player, breezing through until the final difficulty spike. Doubles tournaments don't work quite as well as singles by yourself, since your AI companion will occasionally forget how to play tennis, diving into the middle of your rallies, choosing not to hit the ball, or simply failing to perform the majority of chant shots. The entire single player campaign is somewhat dull, and sees you going through the motions purely to complete things. Luckily, there's multiplayer on offer, both local and online. Local play also has download play enable, which is a welcome addition. It's the same rigid tennis mechanic, but playing with friends offers more than taking on the rigid AI. If you play online versus random opponents, you can only play singles matches, and then only brief knockouts with low set counts. The ideal way to play Mario Tennis is with a group of mates. There's also a Street Pass function that lets you challenge the Mii of any player you come into contact with, but the tennis mechanics are the same as elsewhere, and with the AI taking control of your opponent's Mii, it offers little more than the same thing as elsewhere under a slightly different menu option. 4 minigames are present to provide a brief distraction. These all involve hitting balls in certain directions, either to pass through rings, collect star pieces, or avoid an opponent. The best minigame features levels from Super Mario Bros. On a video screen, with the tennis ball acting as Mario. Minigames reward you with coins, which can be used to purchase outfits for your playable Mii character. Outfits unlock for purchase by playing tournaments and matches, so if you're looking to own everything, you're in for a huge amount of grinding and repetition. Even then, there's very little to keep you coming back for long. The tennis just isn't exciting enough. It lacks the subtleties of more realistic tennis games, but it's also missing the crazy moveset of other Mario sports titles. The changes brought on by the different control methods convolute an otherwise basic game, and there's not enough substance or skill required for Mario Tennis Open to be treated as a serious tennis game. Playing against friends can be fun, but this is otherwise a rather uneventful, forgettable instalment.